You're watching BCTV. We're all about Brantford. You're watching BCTV, Brantford Government Television, a service of Brantford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Brantford.
Good evening, everyone. It is 5:30 p.m. Monday, January 13th. I'd like to bring the regular meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners to order. Approval of minutes for the regular meeting Tuesday, November 12th, 2024.
I'll make
May I have
a motion to
approve?
accept. Yeah.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Chief. Report of the Chief.
All right, you have your monthly statistical and training reports in there. Should encompass both November and December. As you know, we do our annual report, which encompasses the fiscal year. So we kind of get snapshots on that in that document that was provided, I believe, our last meeting. So nothing overly concerning in that as far as the statistics go. Some of the trends, you know, some of them are down, which is good. Some of our overdoses are continuing to trend down, which is good. In the enforcement area, you'll see a little better focus on the radar assignments. There was a pretty big change in that. That was up. Overall, our accidents were down just a little bit, but nothing off of the norm there. And our arrests were down significantly. But again, one of the big things too is weather. As we get out of the holidays and into the colder months, sometimes the weather is one of our best crime deterrents that we have. As far as the personnel overview, just to give you kind of a glance of where we are right now, we have two officers, Officer Healy and Officer Manuel, just graduated last Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah.
From the Meriden Police Academy. They are just starting their journey on field training with their training officers now. As you know, we will not realize their presence in the normal schedule for quite some time. We're probably looking at about 14 weeks or so before they'll be ready for integration into the staffing. So congratulations to them. They did very well. Along those lines, we did have a recruit officer, Officer Sywek, who was on field training. He has chosen to resign. He did a couple weeks and felt that this just wasn't for him, and we wish him well in his future endeavors. So that is a vacancy we're going to have to try to fill. Along those lines, the deputy's working very hard with the recruitment. And we do have a certified candidate that has shown some interest. We're in the early stages of that vetting process, but let's keep our fingers crossed. Other than that, John, I think we don't have anybody in queue, right?
We have another entry-level candidate in the background phase, and we've conducted interviews over the last couple of weeks, interviewed probably 20 different people based on just vetting them out through their resume and cover letters and applications. Of that 20, there's a couple that are in an on-hold status, but we didn't move them forward to the next phase. One other individual we did give a written test to, which is our next phase, but unfortunately that person failed the written test, so it left us with the one person for entry level who's now in the background phase. So we'll see how that goes. There's still a lot of work to do to get that person through the entire background phase. We're still waiting on polygraph, psychological testing, medical testing. So, but we're chugging along with that. And it's on a weekly basis. It's something that we're engaged in between accepting applications, vetting out individuals through interviews and background.
So we're down to 44 active.
Yeah, so we're that number's going to move, and we do anticipate that we're going to have a few more vacancies coming up. At what period those are going to fall, but there is, we've had some conversations. So again, we're going to be in this constant hiring process, and some of the things that we need to discuss and we're looking at is the personnel, how much is in the budget. You know, we're never ever at that true ideal number that we need to get to. We're always chasing it. So when you look at the onboarding, the academy, the financial end of it that we can't cover, you know, we can only be within that allotted personnel that's in the budget. That's why it's important to talk about increases. So more to come on that. As far as just a few things, you know, we did have a fatal fire that we assisted the fire department with. Our detective personnel assisted the state fire marshal and our partners over at the fire department. That investigation is still open. We don't have any definitive information to release at this point, but a tough, difficult night for that family. And again, our social worker, Danielle, very big part, came out that night, dealt with the families. And one of the things that we took away from that was, you know, 2 of our officers had to make that notification. And one of the things that was learned in follow-up was how important it was to the family on how professional the officers were. So again, you know, a difficult time, but we had some support there for them, so that's good to hear. Also around the state, there's been some burglaries to some of the convenience stores and gas stations where they're back to their tricks of pulling the ATM machines out with you know, chains and pulling them out of the building. The officer on midnights, we did interrupt one of those. As you know how this ends, that they engaged us in pursuit. The pursuit was terminated. Are following some leads, and Detective Bureau is working with some other area departments, and I think we have some suspects in that. Those are just a few of the...
Chief,
Yeah.
excuse me, before you flip the page, under the special assignments, do we now have 2 officers? We had one to the court liaison?
Yeah, we had one that was added to there for many reasons, and that'll be going back down, I believe, January 20th. January 20th, we start our new schedule. It's a you know, pursuant to the collective bargaining agreement, the 5-2-5-3 rotation schedule. So again, that's another thing that we're going to be looking at as we trend out 6 months, and we can start looking to see how that's working for us. Again, if we fall below a certain number, it's going to be difficult. It'll have an impact on overtime, but we are very, if you look at this assignment, I think it was important to keep the personnel overview in there. We don't have a lot of room to play with.
I know.
You know, a lot of people are wearing a lot of hats, and that service level we want to strive for, that's something that we have to be mindful of. With that said, the training report you can take a look at your leisure. It's always good to see a lengthy training report.
Yeah.
We want to stick with that. That's a hallmark of the key ingredients of success for an agency.
Chief, I see the drone team conducted a service training. Is the drone here, or?
It's not here yet. We're expecting it hopefully any day now. There's a lot of movement in that. The regional SWAT team did do a full-scale mock deployment pursuant to our policy and procedures. They did that, and a big part of that now is the drone team. So that's growing, and we have that drone coming, which is excellent. So more to come with that. With the budget, so under kind of the reports, the budget, it's budget prep season. We're starting to have some informal.
Enjoy.
It's okay. It's always been really good here. I think our view on this is where we've been. We're going to, try to come in as conservative as we can to meet the mark. We'll tighten the belt in certain areas, but personnel, I think it's important that we did the staffing analysis. We have that document. That's on our website. The calls, as you know, in traffic committee, we were talking about, we would love to get back to staff where we could have specialty officers doing directed patrols and doing the ancillary things that we've had to cut back. So I think something we're gonna have to discuss is going back for 2 additional officers to get us to start building. I know that it's gonna be a tough budget year, but that's gonna be a greater discussion we're gonna have. So if you have any ideas on the budget or any, questions, I'd say look at that staffing study. I think it really encapsulates where we stand today and what we want to accomplish. So for the budget, flat, contractual increases, 2 bodies, 2 line officers, and that's pretty much the sell. Capital, we'll keep it as low as we can. So that's just simply with the budget. As far as, I'm going to skip over the building department and turn that over to the deputy in a few seconds. That's a very big part of what we got going on right now, and I'll let him cover that. But as far as correspondence, we received a fair amount. A Brantford resident got his car stuck. He wanted to comment how professional Officer McCone was, and he even kind of joked that he was surprised that Officer McCone just didn't lift the vehicle up by himself. If you ever stood next to Officer McCone, you would know what this fellow is talking about. He's a very strong young officer, and but the citizen couldn't say good enough things about him, wanted to reach out and thank him. Back tying into our Marine Patrol and our increased focus last year, which is something that we're going to stay on. Kelsey's Island, we increased patrol there. Thanks to Dave Atkinson and Officer Abley, they spent a lot of time there actually walking at times, and it went over very well with those that were on the beach area there, and the Board of Directors just wanted to reach out and thank us for that and hope for another good year. We have another correspondence from Raymond McGrath. He's the unit supervisor down to DEA. There was a suspect that they were looking for that was wanted throughout New Haven County, that engaged the police in foot chases, car chases, and lo and behold, he ends up here in one of our motels, and they coordinated with our detective and patrol personnel and were able to take the person into custody without incident, which was a job well done. Also, Detective Atkinson, as part of his role with the schools and being in contact with them, conducted an internet safety class with the 5th and 6th graders over at Walsh. They had a great time and learned a lot from Detective Atkinson. And just a letter for Officer Richardson, Dispatch Sands, and Nunberg. Someone lost their bank card, and we were able to reunite them right in time to buy Christmas gifts. Also, hospice wanted to send, they had a fraud. They wanted to reach out and thank us for the police response from that. That was Officer Beauvais. Did an incredible job, leveraged some of his contacts and networks with some federal agencies, and had a very successful outcome for hospice. So always good to be able to help our stakeholders such as hospice in the town. With that, unless you have any other questions, I'm done. I'll turn it over for probably the biggest part of the presentation tonight, and that's an update on the building project.
Okay, so been a lot of work on the building project since we've last met in November. So December was a very busy month, as well as the date through January. Basically, we're meeting every single day on the building project with the Downs Construction Company regarding some aspect of the project, whether it's something to do with the trades, the site work, plumbing, the HVAC, just the windows, everything within the project. So we've been meeting daily there. On January 20th, that will be move-out day for Patrol Division downstairs. So that's coming soon. We'll be moving to Company 1 at the fire department on that day. Our admin staff will remain here on the 2nd floor, working through February. We anticipate our admin staff to move out on February 10th, and then our dispatch to move from its current location to the training room here at the PD about a week later on the 17th. So that's what we have on the schedule for this time. We are reminding the public that the building will be open to the public and functional as a police department throughout the year-long project. So we'll always be able to accept the public here at the PD. If someone comes here in the event of any type of crisis or emergency, there'll be officers here to greet them, as well as our dispatchers on scene here at the PD. So with that said, we are encouraging the public to call us for our services, and we want to go out into the field and meet the public, you know, where they are, and we can do that, you know, easily. So we're going to try to encourage the public to call us so they don't have to come here. We can minimize traffic on site here during the project, because there's going to be construction equipment, there's going to be fencing up. It will look, there'll be a temporary trailer out front, so it will definitely look like a construction project, as it is a large-scale project. Same thing with records. Our records can be sent out via email, so a simple request of records@BranfordPolice.com, someone will be able to get the records via email, and it'll save them the trip here to the PD. So our moving company will be on site later this week. We've already began packing up items here at the PD. We've coordinated with a moving company who will be moving everything we need from the building here to Company 1 for Patrol Division, starting this Friday through the weekend into Monday. Second floor of the fire department, where our admin staff, the company will be coming back to move us and our admin staff to the second floor of the fire department, where admin staff will be working into February. And so we're working on coordinating with them, as well as moving a lot of items to storage for long-term storage while the building we need it completely emptied for the renovation. So a lot of work there with them, a lot of coordination and logistics planning. But as of right now, Downs Construction Company is on scene here. They're working on enabling both the upstairs at the fire department and this building here for upcoming work, which will start as soon as next week. You'll see the fencing going up next week, and demolition of the planter up front for the temporary trailer, which will be used for interviews throughout the project. So partitions at the fire department, electrical work, that's all being completed now. There'll be another trailer, a restroom trailer at the fire department in the back for the officers' use during the period where we're using Company 1, because there's one bathroom inside, so we'll need some additional space there. We've also been working with our interior designer, so we've contracted with an interior designer who has gone over the furniture plans and is helping pick out different pieces of furniture for when we do move back into the building. You know, just some different things that we'll need to furnish the building, the new building. So there's been a lot of work there with them, a lot in terms of evidence, the armory, the different pieces of furniture, equipment, shelving, safes, forensic equipment, all that type of stuff, you know, placement of those items within the building. So a lot of work there.
Yeah.
One major curveball that's come into play was with the slab. And the slab, which has been really what began this journey, is correcting some of the moisture vapor that's been coming through the slab. And initially, we were told that negative side waterproofing was the way to tackle the issue that we have in the slab, which is there's no vapor moisture barrier underneath the slab, which is allowing high levels of hydrostatic pressure to come through the slab. So we were initially planning on shot blasting down the entire slab and then coating it with different types of epoxy coatings that will hold down the vapor moisture. And that may still be a possibility, although there's a high level of salt content, which has now appeared in some of the testing on the slab itself. So there may be an issue with the manufacturer warranting the epoxy coatings, which are supposed to hold down the vapor barrier. So the slab may have to get ground down to a certain level to then meet the warranties on the slab, or it may have to be pulled up in its entirety, which sounds like that may be one direction that may be the right way to go, because it'll be completely fixed 100%. But that's being investigated right now by a construction company, and we have to determine, you know, which path we need to take. So that's still on the table. It's being investigated. It's a major logistical issue with the project in terms of scheduling, in terms of noise, in terms of how we're going to move forward within the project, but it's nothing that we can't overcome, and they knew that this would be a potential issue, so there's contingencies in place to, you know, correct it properly. So I'm glad that, you know, they're on board with making sure that this is going to be fixed right when this project's done. We've said that from the beginning, and that's ultimately major importance. So that's just a quick overview of what we've been working on, you know, recently. But you guys have any other questions on the building project? I'm sure there's got to be maybe some.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
It's been a lot going on.
Yeah, he is, the whole team, but we'll get through it. We'll maintain the high level of service so the public doesn't have to worry, but the deputies basically running every day. So everyone's chipping in, doing their part. So on top of our normal demands, we have this, but we'll get through it and it'll be worth it. But
So if they have to jackhammer the slab, does it affect communications here, or where are they gonna move to?
That's what we've discussed all day today. So that decision hasn't been officially made by or presented to the Public Building Commission on which direction we should go. But that would be the idea, is if it was all pulled up, it'd be saw cut, and there'd be areas that would be jackhammered out as well. So, you know, that's going to affect dispatch. We have to make sure that, you know, they can work appropriately and safe, you know, and be able to, you know, be in a safe environment themselves, and be able to obviously take the calls and dispatch the calls as needed. So that's a major concern and something that's just come to light recently within the project.
Thank you. A lot of good work.
Yeah,
Thank you.
All right, I think we didn't discuss forfeiture, I think, or you did.
I skipped that, but the only thing I can report there is we did, at the end of the month, get some drops in, some electronic transfers, probably like $10,000. I can get you exact numbers, but that's the only thing that I have for that.
Okay. All right, so approval of has everyone seen the meeting schedule
Yeah,
for this year? Can I have a motion to approve the
I'll make a
schedule?
motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, move on to traffic issues and
Okay.
requests.
Yeah.
Patty?
The first item was a request for a speed camera in Stony Creek. There's no action taken on that. We don't have speed cameras. The second item is, it says a parking spot south of the railroad bridge on Thimble Island Road. What they're really talking about is the no parking sign. They want it moved back 10 feet. And they're requesting that the current parking spaces between 112 and 115 be deleted. All right. There was a motion to refer this to the engineering department and see what their recommendations are. So I need a motion from this committee to bring it to the engineering department and receive their recommendations for moving the sign and removing those parking spaces.
I'll make a motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The next item, coordination with the town engineer, that kind of was encompassed throughout all of the conversations tonight. traffic study, we did do a traffic study on at Stony Creek, but it was 3 days, and it's not prime time. So after talking to a couple of the Stony Creek board members, the traffic committee is recommending that we do another speed study in warmer weather and extend it to 7-day trial. That way we will have more accurate data on the situation. In the meantime, we are recommending that we put up the pop-ups, at least on all the crosswalks, and one of the speed signs that are on a post. Is there a motion to accept that recommendation?
I'll make a motion,
I'll
Kelly.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
That's all you have.
and that's all I have?
All right, report of the chair. I would just like to reiterate and acknowledge the hard work by the team, the deputy, the chief, and everyone else with their hard work with this huge project on top of all their daily work that needs to be done.
Top of the house.
Kudos. I mean, I think you guys are working really hard to make this thing happen on schedule. We don't have any citizens here for comments, so I think we can ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, adjourn 5:56 p.m.
Good.
Thank you.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Brantford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BrantfordTV.org.